Welcome to the math record. Today I'll be introducing the idea of a limit. As a disclaimer, I won't be discussing much about the limit because I kind of just want to get straight into the more important concepts in calculus. Okay, so what is a limit? Well, as its name implies, limit is just the idea of some value reaching a limit. So let's try an example. So the notation is really simple, just lim for limit. So as the limit as some value, let's say x, approaches 2, how does x plus 3 change? Well, that's simple. Well, as x approaches 2, it becomes 2. So 2 plus 3 is going to be 5. Well, that may seem pretty simple, but let's try something that's kind of a little bit tedious, but using the ideas of a calculus. So we're going to use something with small changes. So let's say we choose something close to 2, but not exactly 2. So let's say our x value is 1.9. Well, if x is 1.9, 1.9 plus 3 is going to give us 4.9. That seems pretty close to 5. Now we chose another point, let's say 1.99, right? This is even closer to 2. 1.99 plus 3 is 4.99, which is even closer to 5. And if we choose an even closer value to 2, 1.999, we add that to 3, that's 4.999, right? So this is so as we choose numbers closer and closer to 2, we get to 5. And this is just going up from 1.9 to 2, 1.99 to 2, right? So it's getting closer. Now let's say something that's decreasing. Let's say something like 2.1. That's higher than 2 and we had to go down. So 2.1 plus 3 is 5.1. That's kind of close to 5, but it's just overshotting it. Let's choose something smaller but closer. So 2.01, right, is lower than 2.1, but it's getting even closer to 2. So 2.01 plus 3 is 5.01. That's really close to 5. It's just off by like 1/100ths. Now let's choose something even closer, 2.001. Now we add that to 3, that's 5.001, which is even closer. And as you see from both cases, as you increase with numbers that are below it, we get closer to 5. And if we decrease from numbers above it, we are getting closer to 5. And that's the idea of a calculus. We're having these small changes, these really, really small changes, as we approach some value, which is 2, then the limit of this function gets closer to some value that we see a pattern that's going to, which is 5. So it may seem tedious, but this is the idea of what our limits are. But this is just for a simple example. So what happens if we use something a little bit more complicated? Well, then we had to use something called the derivative. And that's basically the connection between the limit and the derivative. The limit is just the process. The derivative is basically our simplified version of our limit. In the next video, I'll be covering the idea of the limit. Well, thanks for watching.